Hello, welcome back to part 2 of the tent modification video, where I make a hot tent out of my 8-man Ozark Trail Tipi. So the tent is here, just set up, and I have fitted the stove jack, which is on the side here, underneath the rain cover flap, which is also an air vent. There's no hole cut because I haven't got the stove yet. So there's a stove hopefully coming, and from there we can do all the settings, cut holes and stuff and measurements. This is the patch I put on after cutting a hole in the tent accidentally. I've gone around it with the seam sealer completely now, the whole patch. So it does need rain to test. And I've got the fly sheet cover to go over that when I take the stove jack off, when it's, because it will have a hole in it. I didn't put Velcro on this side because I found it very difficult to sew by hand, just to one side. So it's going to be removed and the other one will be put on. I'm going to do that and show you. This has been seam sealed on the outside, so it's completely rubberized now over the stitching. So I thought I'd erect it and show you what it looks like. All we're waiting for now is a stove. So I'm going to switch out the covers and put the other one on so we can have a look at that. And there it is. That's the only colour I had, was black. I've seam sealed all of the stitching. Don't look at the stitching, it's awful. It's hand sewn. And by the time I came to do this stitching, I was fed up and my fingers hurt. So need a machine. So let's go inside and have a look at this, so you can see what it's like from there. And look who it is. He's back. You happy, Peter?
Oh yeah. Cheers.
Here we go. So this is the inside. I mean, this is just stuck on. It's Velcro, does what it does. I'm sure that will keep the weather out, but we won't know until it rains. This is my repair from the inside. So like I said, I just put some duct tape over the slit and then patched it on the outside. And there's the stove jack. Velcroed. I could paint some seam sealer over that, some more stuff, but I don't know. I might do now it's done. It'd be so simple to paint that over and leave it to dry. This side's like complete rubber. Yeah, very rubbery. But yeah, this is the tent. It's pretty big. It's an 8-man. I know, but when you're laying down in it, there's loads of floor space. They never look big, do they? Especially on film. But what I do want to do is get something to put over the top of this pole, because it's on the single skin. There's no reinforcement, whereas on the inner there's a big reinforcement pad in there. So I'm thinking half a tennis ball, or cut a hole in a ball, put it over the end, give it a little bit more of a support. So I'm going to get a brew on. See, there's loads of headroom in there, you can see from me standing. I want to get a brew on. Peter's already found himself some brew. Where'd you find them, Peter?
Asda.
Oh, in Asda. So I'm well chuffed. Just, we haven't used it yet. Waiting for that stove to turn up. Once we get our stove, we'll be cooking on all burners. And that tent's probably going to get really hot, so I might have to keep the door open anyway, because stoves in tents, they get hot. And it's been mild lately here, so let's just hope that, I don't hope for bad weather, but you know, if it does go that way, we're pretty sorted, aren't we? So anyway, let's get a brew on. I'm chuffed with this. I think it could have been better. I'd say my conclusions are, have a machine. You can do it by hand obviously, but a machine would be neater and nicer. The seam stitching turned out nice. The way I did the silicone fiberglass was okay. That turned out okay. So, afterthoughts. Get someone to do the stitching if you haven't got a machine. Perhaps it'd be a lot easier. It took me 2 days to do this with all just the stitching work. it's a simple process. It hasn't been tested yet for weatherproofing, I know, but I can't see how rain's going to come up under that cover. I just don't see it happening. If that cover wasn't there, I'd have had to have built a little flap anyway. I'm confident in the seam sealing. I don't think we're going to have a problem with water ingress through stitching. I'm confident in that. So it's just down to the stove jack and the positioning, and it'll be fine, because you can always slightly lean your stove jack, your pipe over your flue, you know, even if it's only 2 inches, but a 2-inch lean over 4 whatever it is meters, 3 meters, it's going to be, you know, it's going to make a difference at the top. Yeah, let's get a brew on.